Welcome to Eliot Hine Network 1 on YouTube, DCPX Korean Technical Education.
I'm your host, Anaya.
I'm your host, Aria.
I'm your host, Natalie.
And I'm your host, Annie.
Did you know Eliot Hine Network has a new podcast in the state-of-the-art studio?
Lock us in on Apple,
iHeart,
Spotify,
Pandora,
Google,
and Amazon Music.
Joining us as a guest on the show today is the Chief of Metropolitan Police Department, Pamela A. Smith.
Our show topic is Excellence is Transferable.
Chief Smith, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Our first segment is Understanding Chief Pamela A. Smith.
What was the best advice you got growing up?
I think the best advice that I received growing up was treating everyone the way I would like to be treated. I think that's a positive thing for all of us. I mean, I think about how sometimes people don't treat us very nice, right? And so even though they may not treat us nice, it doesn't give us cause to not treat them nice also, but to always be mindful of the fact that you treat people the way you want to be treated.
Can you share an important experience you had and what you learned from it?
I think I've had a lot of experiences being in law enforcement for over 26 years. I think one of the most important experiences that I've had and what I've learned from it is that there are oftentimes people who have come in my life and who have, I'll use supervisors or really good friends who have helped me to make positive decisions about my career. I recall a time when I was a lieutenant here in the Washington District of Columbia, and my boss wanted me to move to San Francisco, California. And that's 3,000 miles away from here. All of my friends are here on the East Coast. And what I learned, even though I didn't want to go, right, because I wanted to stay back with all my friends and all the other things. But what I learned was that he was setting me up to move up higher within the organization by giving me different experiences in different places. And so what I learned through that experience was that sometimes there are people who can see good things in you, but also want you to spread your wings a little bit and learn from different perspectives of an organization, or even here at school, right? You can learn from different things that your teachers tell you to do. Sometimes you may not want to do it, but sometimes it's for our good. And I think the best experience that I received out of that is to be open-minded to doing different things and not always doing the same things all the time the same way.
In your career path, what has surprised or inspired you?
So I think the one thing that inspired me, I'll talk about the things that has inspired me the most, was being able to meet President Obama in my lifetime. My grandmother was 106 years old when she passed away, and when I met President Obama, she was in her late 90s. And I don't think I ever thought I would ever have the opportunity to meet a sitting, living president in my lifetime. And since then, I've met President Obama twice. I've met President Biden twice. And so it's been a really good experience for me. And I come from a place in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, where oftentimes young people such as yourself don't have a lot of hope and a lot of dreams and aspirations to do things outside of the city limit that you live in. And I'm just blessed to know that their pathways have been created for me to be able to see things that I never thought I would ever be able to see in life. And so being able to shake the hand of President Barack Obama was very inspiring for me. It was encouraging for me. But it also let me know one thing, that if President Obama can do it, so can I.
If you could select one word to describe your work ethic, what would it be and why?
Dedicated. I think dedicated, and I'll use the word dedication. The job of a chief of police, I mean, it doesn't matter what your gender is, whether it's male or female. It's a tough job, right? My responsibility is to ensure that I keep people safe across the district, or people that are living in the district, people that come to visit the district. That's my job. That's the overall goal. And then being able to manage and supervise over 4,000 employees. And hoping, when you talk about excellence being transferable, that I am employing the type of spirit, employing the type of conversations, employing the type of change in our culture that's positive, so that when people go out into the field, that the way that I speak to them, the way that I interact with them, they will carry that and interact with members in our community. Dedicated and committed, because I don't think it's a terrible thing to say. I hardly ever sleep, because I'm always watching what's happening in the district. I will say to you, why is that important to me? Because I'm very passionate about working with young people such as yourself, young girls, young boys in middle school and in high school, because you're right now in the a peak of your season. You've come out of elementary, right? You're in this middle school space, and now you're thinking about where you're going next, right? Into high school. And this is a critical time for your life. And my job is to make sure that even within the Metropolitan Police Department, that we have programs that are going to attract you and to draw you to the things that we're doing. And it's not always public safety that we're doing. We have other programs within the organization, but that we're reaching out to you and that we're touching you and that we're hoping that you will take some of the advice that we give you when you see us, that will lead you in the right direction, because there are so many things out there right now that we could all pick up and go this way or that way, right? Negative or positive. And it is my hope, it is certainly my hope that you will stay dedicated and committed to all the things that your teachers are teaching you here right now, so that you can choose the right path to go when it's time for you to go to high school. Summertime is coming up, right? Summertime is coming up, and listen, I need you young ladies to be real active in some positive things. And so those are the things that inspire me the most when you talk about the dedication and why am I so dedicated and committed to this job, because I want young people to be successful. You all are my future. And I become a little concerned about the way some of our young people are leading their lives right now. But I think that as long as you find good mentors, you have good people, positive people in your lives to lead you in the right direction, I think you'll remain dedicated and committed to the things that you're doing as well.
Thank you very much. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Okay, good.
This broadcast is being brought to you by Eliot Hine TV on Ustream.
And the District Knowledge Network.
I'm your host, Nanaya.
I'm your host, Michaela.
I'm your host, Evelyn.
And I'm your host, Omira.
Our show topic today is Excellence is Transferable.
Joining us as a guest on the show is the Chief of the Metropolitan Police Department, Pamela A. Smith.
Our first segment is Understanding Chief Pamela A. Smith.
Our second segment is Reducing Crime.
How can we as young adults help the Metropolitan Police Department?
Well, I think that's a very good question, and thank you for asking that. I think one of the things that young people and young adults can do to help the Metropolitan Police Department is to help us to learn what's happening in the community. Help us to learn what's happening in your schools. I personally have a Chiefs Youth Advisory Council. I would love to see some of you join our Youth Advisory Council. And that council is set up so that teenagers such as yourself can come in and advise me on the things that I need to do as a department with young people in our communities, right? Mm-hmm. And you're the boots on the ground for the things that are happening in your neighborhoods, the things that you see every day that's happening in your school. And I know you sit in this space where you don't want to be what I think young people call it, was it dry snitching now? Is it a new terminology? Mm-hmm. Is it the same thing as dry snitching? I know you want to feel like you're dry snitching, but I think that if you have the mindset of that, if you see something wrong, you have to say something. And that's what's going to help us make your communities a lot better.
Okay.
Talk to us about Camera Connect DC. What is it, and how can the community get involved?
Oh, Camera Connect DC is something that I'm very excited about. We just launched our Real-Time Crime Center, and our Real-Time Crime Center is a crime center that is made up of technology. And what I'll say about technology, I know a lot of you are very, very knowledgeable, probably a lot more knowledgeable than I am about technology and computers and laptops and cell phones and things like that. And we use the Real-Time Crime Center to be kind of the port for all cameras across the District of Columbia, where we have a team of people that sit in that space and they watch cameras across the District of Columbia. It also helps us to solve crimes. So if your mother called and said, hey, there was a crime committed, I'm going to say in an area where we have a CCTV camera, we can sit in that room, pull that camera up, identify who that person is that's committed that crime, get that photo out to the general public, and the public is really helping us to solve a lot of crime now, because they'll tell, oh, that's Pamela in that photo that just committed that crime, and we're able to go and apprehend or arrest Pamela for committing that crime. So the Camera DC, I will say, for your parents that live in your homes, if they want to connect with us, they can go to their website. If they want to connect their Ring doorbell camera or any other camera rebate program that the mayor offered to all residents of the District of Columbia, we can get their information. We can connect your cameras to our Real-Time Crime Center, and your parents can, if we call them, if there's a crime that's committed in your area, your parents can give us a video clip of that video, and send it to us, and we can use that to help solve crimes across the community and when within the district.
All right. How can someone report an anonymous tip to the Metropolitan Police Department?
I would say if you have a cell phone, 50411. That's a real easy number to read. 50411. And that is a text tip that you can send if something is happening that you see and you don't want to pick up the phone and call. You can just press 50411 and type in there what the concern is, and it'll come directly to one of our investigators, and we will conduct an investigation based on the information that you shared with us.
Okay.
What is the objective for the MPD Rewards program?
Well, I think the rewards program is certainly an incentive to get people to give us information, right? Sometimes money can entice people to do some things, but this is a positive thing, right? When there are young people who have been victims of crimes, there have been adults who have been victims of crimes, and sometimes it's very hard for us to solve those crimes. And what we do is we offer rewards. We offer a significant amount of money for that person to provide information to us that would lead to either the apprehension and or conviction of the person who has been accused of committing that particular crime. And that's the overall objective, is to really have the community engaged in sharing information with us.
We are going to take a quick break, and we will be right back.
Okay.
This broadcast is being brought to you by Eliot Hine TV on Ustream.
DCPS Current Technical Education.
I'm your host, London Jones.
I'm your host, Avery Ruby.
I'm your host, Natalie Jensen.
I'm your host, Dallas Scooter.
Our show topic today is Excellence is Transferable.
Joining us as a guest on our show is the Chief of Metropolitan Police Department, Pamela A. Smith.
Our first segment was Understanding Chief Pamela A. Smith.
Our second segment was Reducing Crime.
Our third segment is Community Engagement.
In your opinion, how can the community help solve or help resolve conflicts within the District of Columbia?
You know, I think that's a very, very good question. How can the community help solve or help resolve conflicts within the District of Columbia? You know, one of the things that I've noticed is that in our communities, we've gone from resolving conflicts in a way that it's causing more harm than good. And what do I mean by that? I remember a day when I was growing up where I could have a conversation with someone, and we might fight a little bit, right, or argue a little bit, or I might put a stick on your shoulder, you put a stick on my shoulder and tell me to knock it off, and we might tussle a little bit, and the fight was over. Today we have young people bringing guns to the fight. We have adults bringing guns to the fight, and that's not how we solve conflict. Conflict is really about communication, how we communicate with each other, effectively with someone, or even ineffective with someone, right? I might not like what you say, but is that a reason for us to go in the back of the school or outside the school to go, and I'm going to use your terminology, blow for blow and toe for toe, right? Fighting one another. Is that necessary? Or can we sit down and have a conversation about what the issue is? And so how you can help us is by using some of those same techniques that I've just described, not just putting the stick on the shoulder, but sitting down and having a conversation, right? Or sitting down with an adult, someone that is a mentor to you, someone that you think is positive, and bringing that adult into that conversation to help you resolve the conflict with someone that you may be having, and I'm going to use your terminology, beef with, right? I mean, you guys got a lot of things going on. You have these videos that are out there from time to time, and some of these videos are not very encouraging. Some of them are just downright disrespectful. But again, you have to be mindful of how you speak about a video, because oftentimes if you say something negative, right, it creates conflict. So what we have to do is think about what we say before we say it. And then the other piece of it is that if you find that you're on the verge of or in the middle of conflict, getting with an adult to sit down to help you resolve that with that person.
Talk to us about the purpose of National Night Out, and do you believe this type of event should evolve into a monthly event to stop the violence in our city?
And whoever wrote this question, I love you and thank you for this question. We should have National Night Out every single month. And here's the reason why. National Night Out is the one time a year where all law enforcement agencies across the United States come together, and we bring out all of the tools and the tricks of the trade that we have as resources, if you will, at our particular department. If you notice here in the District of Columbia, we have National Night Out held in different areas in all 7 of our districts in different locations. Some of them are held at recreation centers. Some of them are held at various parks, outdoor parks, that is. But I think to your point, we need to be present in those spaces, not just as the Metropolitan Police Department, but all police agencies that are in the District of Columbia, finding a location or so. I love the idea. Whoever thought of this, you got my brains going this morning. Whoever thought of this, to be so that we can come together and show you something different, right? To show you that there's more to than the crime that we're seeing that's happening, and we need to be the positive forces in our communities to demonstrate this, not just one time a year. And oftentimes, National Night Out is held in August. And I think this might be something I can have my youth advisory council to kind of pick up on, seeing if this is something that we can do on a monthly basis. So whoever asked that question, thank you, and I'm stealing your idea.
What are some of your year-round city events?
Oh my, we have so many year-round events. I mean, I think most people don't even know, like the Metropolitan Police Department has a basketball team. We have a basketball team. Somebody said we have a hockey team. I know we have a team that participate in world sports. A lot of the activities that we do in your respective communities is that we do community walks once a week in every single district that we have in DC. We have 7 districts in all of our communities. And what we do is that we go into your community, we let our commander, we have a commander of each district, and what he or she will do is host a time so that we can walk with you and talk with you in the community on a regular basis. We also have our side-by-side band. Our side-by-side band will go into some of the schools. It's a band that's made up of MPD members who sing. And if you haven't heard them, I suggest that you go on our website and find out where they're performing. They are very, very good and very talented. But it's another opportunity for us to engage with our community. We also have the officer-friendly program that we've brought back to our schools, our elementary schools and some of our middle schools, where this program is an opportunity for us to teach young people about how to stay safe and how to protect themselves when they're out in their communities. So we have a host, and I could go on and on and on. I know we're short of time, but we have a host and a barrage of different activities that happen across the city on a regular basis. I can tell you one event that we're hosting once a year is our women's conference. This year was our first year to host a women's conference in the history of the Metropolitan Police Department. It went off without a hitch. Next year we're going to do the same thing. We're going to host it at the convention center, and I'd like to see if I can get some of the young ladies from this school, if your principal would allow it, to be a part of our panel. If that would be, if you guys would think about that as we go into our next year in March. So think about it if you're still here. Okay.
Do you have any final thoughts for the students at Eliot Hine Middle School?
I want to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. This is inspiring to me. It is, and if this is your overall goal in life is to be a journalist, a sportscaster, news reporter, you can do it. And you know how I know you can do it? Because you're starting right here in a space and a place that wasn't even available to me. I wish I had this kind of opportunity. You all are learning about amazing technology, how to use these what do you call those things in there? Somebody help me.
Control panel.
Hey, there you go. See, I don't know. Control panels at an early age. Do you know how Queen Latifah, MC Light, Queen Bee, right? Her husband, what's her husband's name?
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z. You know how these are some of the same tools and techniques that they use in order to make music, right? We're on the other side of that. But I know all of you like to be creative in your spare time, I'm sure. The one thing that I can encourage you to do is stay in school. Come to school every single day. Truancy is not for you. Learn as much as you can learn. Who knows? It may be the pipeline. And I'll say this because I even though I dreamt it when I was a young kid about being a police officer, being the chief of police. Can you believe that? But dreams do come true. And I've been the chief of police twice. Once at the United States Park Police and my second term here with the Metropolitan Police Department. And so I say to you that anything that you can dream, I guarantee you can achieve it. And it starts right now. thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you. This was wonderful.
Chief Smith, thank you for being a guest on our show.
This broadcast is being brought to you by Eliot Hine Network 1 on YouTube.
DCBS Current Technical Education.
I'm your host, London Jones.
I'm your host, Avery Ruby.
I'm your host, Natalie Jensen.
I'm your host, Dallas Cruder.
Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you so much.